Take my lips and speak through them. Take our ears and hear through them. Take our hearts and set them on fire with love for thee. May I speak in the name of the living God. Amen. Today we hear the beginning of the Sermon on the Mount. Calling it that makes it sound like it's a single sermon. If it were, it would be a very long one. It goes on for 3 chapters. But it wasn't. It's a gathering of Jesus' consistent, authoritative teaching. He climbed the mountain like Moses, gathered his disciples to him, sat down, and taught them, saying. The verb tense means he used to teach them this in an ongoing way. So the Sermon on the Mount is the collection of authoritative teaching Jesus habitually gave to his inner circle. It reflects their concentrated memory of the community. It's been called the ordination sermon of the 12, the Magna Carta of the kingdom, the manifesto of the king. In short, it's important. And the first word is not duty or morality, but joy. The sermon opens with joy. Blessed, blessed, blessed is its repeating refrain. The Beatitudes, as they're known, are phrased blessed are in English. But in the original Greek, there was no verb to be attached. So the wording would be better rendered, oh, the bliss of the merciful, the pure in heart. These are the statements of being in God's realm. Blessed are can sound like these are things you must do or aspire to be blessed. And if you're, maybe I should be sadder. If you're mourning, then you'll be blessed. But these are not that. These are exclamations of what is. In fact, the Greek word makarios is used to describe the happiness of the gods, like, oh, the godlike joy of the poor in spirit, Jesus is saying. Meaning, oh, the bliss of those who know they have nothing but God. For theirs is the kingdom of heaven. The Message has it, you're blessed when you're at the end of your rope, because with less of you, there's more of God and God's rule. Oh, the bliss of those who mourn, for they will be touched to the depth with God's comforting strength. Oh, the bliss of the meek. Well, that word doesn't translate well over the years. It would be better rendered in our day and age as gentle. Oh, the bliss of the gentle, the temperate, and self-controlled. For those who live and act in proportion to what is required shall inherit the earth. And boy, could we use more of them. Oh, the bliss of those who hunger and thirst with their whole being for right standing with God, instead of just being satisfied and nibbling around the edges. For they shall be filled to the brim, aligned with God's justice, honesty, and love. Blessed are the merciful. Oh, the bliss of those who care for others, for in their caring they will find themselves cared for. The bliss of the pure in heart. It's not morality. It's, oh, the bliss. When we get our inside world of heart and mind set right, then we can see God in the outside world. Oh, the bliss of the peacemakers. For they are God's children doing God's work. Oh, the bliss of those willing to suffer for righteousness' sake, for they are treading where the saints have trod. Count yourselves blessed every time people put you down or throw you out or speak lies about you to discredit me. It's rendered in the Message. What it means is that the truth is too close for comfort and they're uncomfortable. You can be glad when that happens. Give a cheer even. For though they don't like it, I do. And all heaven applauds. And know that you're in good company because my prophets and witnesses have always gotten into that kind of trouble. The hallmark of Jesus' ongoing teaching is strange reversals. The first shall be last, and the last first. God has made foolish the wisdom of the world, St. Paul wrote to the Corinthians. God decided to save the world not through wisdom, but through the foolishness of our proclamation, he says. And can you imagine anything more foolish than trying to save the world through preaching? Hello. For God's foolishness is wiser than human wisdom, and God's weakness is stronger than human strength. Things are not always what they seem. Blessing and bliss can be found where we least expect them, resulting in oxymorons like Good Samaritan and Good Friday. Jesus dies on the cross, a criminal condemned, but on the third day he rose again because God is present, powerful, and alive. Whatever our circumstances, independent of the chances and changes of life, unstoppable, unassailable. Oh, the God-like joy of life in the kingdom. Oh, the God-like joy of following Christ. I have spoken these things to you, says Jesus in John's gospel, that my joy may be in you, and that your joy may be full, and no one will take your joy from you. We need this good news because life can tie us up in knots. And Jesus takes hold of these knots this morning and just slices through them, like Alexander the Great slicing through the Gordian knot. The knot is insoluble on its own terms. We cannot solve the knotty problem of suffering, pain, and sin. But God's grace and love can slice through it. Though, in all honesty, it may not feel all that great at the time. Take the woman I had to call on during my hospital training in seminary. She was recommended to the chaplain's office as someone who could use a visit. That's always a flag. Her sister had died recently. She had several chronic things wrong with her. She could do with a visit from the chaplain, we were told, and she was on my floor. Oh, lucky me. I was as green as they come. I was about 26 years old and really unacquainted with suffering. Life had not hit me yet. That bus came a few years later, but there I was. Okay, I was very uncomfortable walking into the sick rooms of strangers. This was a 3-month, Monday through Friday, hospital intensive. The nurses were so glad to see me. Their relief at the sight of reinforcements was terrifying. I was those reinforcements. I mean, all I could think of was, what was I supposed to do? I'm going to go in there and say, what? What on earth am I supposed to do that's going to make a difference? Well, I went in and I absolutely needn't have worried because all she did was yell. She yelled the whole time. She hated God. She hated her life. She hated that place. Life was hell. Who the heck was I? And then it got worse. You know, why? Why did her sister die? Why was she sick? God didn't give a fig for her or words to that effect. And mostly, I just felt like a deer caught in headlights. Sometimes I remembered something from theology class. You know, often I was just reduced to, I don't know. It's awful. I don't know. She was in there for weeks. I loathed going to see her. After a while, I started arguing back. You know, well, there are some good things. And she fought me tooth and nail. And finally, my long hospital training summer was coming to an end. And I came to see her like the last time. And she was going on about how God didn't care about her and what God ever done for her. And I said, sort of quietly, well, I'm here. And suddenly she looked at me like she was seeing me for the very first time, like I had dropped all at once out of the blue into her room. Oh my God, she cried. Oh my God, he sent me you. He sent me you. I don't know which one of us was more surprised at the intensity of the thing. Oh, the power and presence of God in that room. It just freezes me to this day. He sent me you. I don't know what you're struggling with today. If it's an agonizing diagnosis, or grief, or unrest in the world, but I do know that when we're standing in the need of God, we are standing in the path of blessedness. Because God is at work underneath the surface of things, turning apparent utter ineffectiveness, anger, and despair into astonished victory and connection in a hospital room. Turning hunger for justice and peace on the protest line in Minneapolis into solidarity, compassion, courage, and joy, as a clergy colleague shared who flew out to join it. The blessing was not in achievement or resolution, but in the hunger and thirst that was sounded and expressed. For Jews demand signs and Greeks desire wisdom, but we proclaim Christ crucified, a stumbling block to Jews and foolishness to Gentiles. But to those who are called, both Jews and Greeks, Christ the power of God and the wisdom of God. Strange reversals. So as we gather here today, the question isn't just what gift or strength do we have to bring to God, but also what weakness, what foolishness, what hunger and thirst do we bring that God can enter into. Look for where things are unraveling, because that is where God is to be found. The very place God is at work. Because when there's less of us, there's more of God and more room for God's reign of strange, strange, strange reversals. Fear not. We're dealing with God here, saints. So no matter how things look and how tough they are, be realistic. Expect a miracle. Amen.